off is Texas. Give them all a big round of applause. Okay, tonight we've got 3 different groups that are shooting off. I'm going to turn it over right now to our pro chairman, Chuck Cooley, who's going to introduce everybody. And enjoy yourselves and root for your favorite person. Take it away, Chuck.
Thanks, Bruce. We'd like a big round of applause for your second place finisher in the professional female freestyle division with 119 X's, Lico Areola. And your 2023 national champion with a perfect score, 120 X's in the professional female freestyle division, Paige Pierce. In our senior pro male freestyle division, second place, Tim Audis. And your 2023 national champion in the senior pro male freestyle with a perfect 120 X's, Randy Morocco.
Hello, everyone, and welcome
we are going to get our
everyone to the
shoot-offs
2023
underway.
NFAA Indoor National Championships. As
Introducing
we set off
first
for
in the
some
professional
shoot-offs, I'm Greg
senior
White, sitting
male
alongside
freestyle division.
two-time NFAA Shooter of the Year, world champion. I mean, the list is long and distinguished. Christopher Perkins. Christopher, welcome to the event. Good to have you here.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Sorry that you're sitting here with me. I know that you were
Yes.
trying to get this as the one tournament that you haven't won yet in your illustrious career.
Yep.
It eludes you for one more season, but we still have on deck some great archery coming our way, don't we?
We do. We've got some people that have been here multiple times, some people this is their first time. Randy Morocco won outright with a 600 120, which has never been done before. Yeah, I mean we've got some great archers coming in tonight, and it should be exciting.
Let's tell you what's on deck for archery. So we have the category of professional female freestyle. Of course, we're talking about compound. So we're going to have the third place shoot off, as you just found out who won and who was in second place. And we're going to do the same thing for the professional senior male, which is what Randy Morocco won. And Christopher, you mentioned it. He is the first archer to ever, in the category, shoot a perfect 120 points. So we're going to be shooting off for third place in that one. On the professional female side, we're going to have 4 archers, and on the professional senior male, we're going to have 3. Then after that gets done and dusted and we figure out who's third place, then we're going to get into the shoot off for the professional male category. The prize $8,000 for the winner, and we have 20 archers that made it a perfect 120 X's shot in 2 days.
Yep.
And they are going to be shooting in a shoot-off competition that we have seen last 12 minutes all the way to nearly 30, 40 minutes.
We've seen it last hours. I mean, when they used to do one arrow closest, one arrow inside out. Now they do the, your regular round 5 arrows inside out, and yeah, I mean it can last 4 ends, it can last 8 ends. Who knows? But should be super exciting to see how it all unfolds. I think the largest 600, 120 X's we've ever had was in Cincinnati quite a few years ago with 29 shooters.
Incredible.
Which is, yeah, I mean, I don't even know the second closest number to that, but 29 is just, yeah, I mean, I was in that shoot-off, and it was just unbelievable.
Here we are in the Louisville International Convention Center, or LICC, as it's commonly known, right in downtown Louisville, a great spot. In and amongst a ton of activities that happen here in downtown Louisville. A lot of food down here, and of course we had vendor area here at the 2023 NFAA Indoor National Championships. Now let's talk about what's going on right now. So here we have 4 women that are shooting off for third spot: Madison Cox, Olivia Dean, Tanya Galantine, and Morgan Reeves. We also have on the professional senior side James Butts, Chuck Durnill, and Michael Hurlbert Sr. Now tell us a little bit about the field of play What's the distance? What are they shooting at? That type of thing, Christopher.
So I believe they're going to get probably one end of practice, one end of regular scoring, and then I do believe they will go inside-out scoring from then on. This is 20 yards, 5-spot target, so it's a little bit different than what we would see in Vegas or any other venue. There isn't actually an inner ring of the ring down there. So you basically have your 9 ring, which is here as a 5. And then you have your inner X ring, which is the same diameter or same size as a Vegas 10 ring, which is just counted as an X here. It's still equal points of 5, but no inner ring on that. So when they talk about inside-out scoring, they're scoring the X ring inside out. There's no other ring inside there.
So 4 minutes is the total time available for each archer to execute their 5 shots. If you're new to archery, depending on the game that you play, in this particular case, the 5-spot game, every time you shoot those 5 arrows and the clock stops and we go down and score those arrows, it's called an end. So you're going to hear us refer to each group of arrow shot as an end. So if you're just joining us here at the 2023 NFAA Indoor National Championships in Louisville, Kentucky, we are in our first end of practice, our first and only end of practice for the freestyle professional categories for 3rd place in the professional female and senior male categories. Now tell us a little bit about why we're shooting off for 3rd place. What has happened to get us to this point?
So obviously 1st and 2nd have been won outright in these divisions. Paige won outright in the women's professional division. I do believe Lico Areola was 2nd there. And then we have a 4-way tie. I think there's 4 of them.
4 on the women's.
Yeah.
On the women's bail, yeah.
For 3rd place. And so, unfortunately, there's only 1 spot available for those 4 women. So then you will have basically your, I guess your 5th, 6th, your 4th, 5th, and 6th position available afterwards. From what I can see. Or do we have a 2nd place availability in women's?
No, that was won by Lico Areola.
Yeah.
So for Lico Areola, so the winning score, of course, was
600, 120.
Paige Pierce.
Yes.
So she shot a 600, 120. Lico Areola, so that means that she shot inside that X ring in the middle. She shot it all 120 arrows. We're in there. 60 arrows a day we shoot. Then Lico Areola won. She was down just 1, and now we have Madison Cox.
Yes.
Olivia Dean.
Tanya Galantine and Morgan Reeves.
Going after.
All battling for 3rd place.
And they only dropped 2 total X points. Or two total X's, I guess. They're really not points. They're still in the 5. So as you can see right there on Hurlburt's target, that entire white area is scored as a 5. But in order to play this game, especially on the pro level, we do count that inner ring with the X in it as an X.
Yes.
And we're going to see what happens. So the first end of scoring is going to be any contact with the arrow at all with that X ring. The person for each division who shoots the highest score. So
Yes.
let's just say for some reason everyone just shot 5s. Then everybody would advance.
Correct.
So it goes highest score first.
Yes.
However, if we shoot X's and an arrow breaks the line, it's an X for this first round. Then we're going to go inside-out scoring, and we'll talk about that. So for 3rd place, we're going to get our first end of scoring, and it's known as regular scoring. And the clock starts. They'll have 4 minutes or 240 seconds to execute the shot. We got a packed house of people, standing room only. All the chairs are taken up.
Gotta stop for just a second.
Here's
you
Bruce
guys
Cole.
are the seniors. How many X's did you shoot? No, you got to think a minute. I know you're older, but think. How many? Did you all shoot the same? 117 X's, and they say they're seniors. Okay, guys, this is it. I'm not going to ask you girls because I know how well you shot. All right, first official scoring end. X counts as 5. Regular scoring, good luck.
Just so you're aware, the freestyle professional senior category, you have to be 50 years old or older to shoot in that category. The winner was Randy Morocco, who shot the first time ever for the category 120 X count out of 120 arrows. Tim Otis shot 119, just one down. And then there's this group of 3 that shot 117s. So we're talking about female professional category that literally these 4 women outshot the senior men by just one single X to get to this 3rd place battle.
Yeah, and looking at this target, kind of want to clear something up on it as well. It looks like a big ring, and it is the Big Ten ring on a Vegas face. However, it's 5 spots. It's 5 shots each end. It's 60 arrows instead of 30. And it is a round that takes astronomically long. It seems.
Listen, it's 2.5 or 3 hours was our rounds.
Yeah,
definitely. Because you actually double stack these target faces, so you actually have 2 lines shooting at the same time, meaning you have 4 minutes for the top row. Bottom row actually goes first. Then we'll go top row. So it takes, I would say, probably what, 12 to 15 minutes per end to shoot, because there's 2 lines, and you got to do that 12 times.
Yeah, so you have your bottom target will shoot first. They've got their 4 minutes. They do their thing. And then once the line is clear, you have your top target shoot. And then after half, so after 6 ends, we will switch top to bottom, bottom to top. And basically that just kind of gives everybody a fair advantage. Everybody is under the same circumstances. You shoot 6 ends on one, 6 ends on the other. Just kind of levels out so that nobody has, I want to say it's probably due to like different lighting. And yeah,
even different heights, honestly.
Yeah,
when you're someone like me who's 6'2", 6'3", I tend to practice when the target is higher up, and so it can be a little bit challenging, especially for amateur shooters, Christopher. There's some amateur shooters that'll go from top to bottom and actually have to grab a click or 2 just because of the way they hold the bow.
Yeah, it's all pretty much in the grip. I mean, it's just enough to make a small, minute change in how that bow hand essentially is in the grip.
Talk about a winning resume. Tanya Galantine has stacked many wins, gold medals in her day.
Vegas this year.
Vegas this year, 100%.
And I believe she's won that twice within the last 3 or 4 years for sure.
Lico won it 2 times in a row, and then Tanya.
I think, yeah, I was going to say Tanya was, I think it went Tanya, Lico, Paige?
No.
Tanya?
For Vegas?
Yeah.
It's been
I
weeks.
honestly don't know.
Cox, 25.
So the first arrow calls,
Dean,
the score,
25.
are being called now.
Galantine, 25. Reeves, 24. Give her a big round of applause. She has been eliminated from the competition. Butts, 25. Darnell, 23. And Holbert Sr., 24. Big round of applause. Jimmy Butts won. Second, Mike Holbert Sr. And third, Mr. Donnell. Congratulations, guys. You can pull your arrows and your targets and name tags.
And Christopher Perkins, we got done shooting here probably, what, around 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
I'd say that was about right. Yeah.
Yeah, started at 11 o'clock this morning with professional categories. It
Yep.
lasted somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 hours. Yesterday was nice, 2.5-hour round.
Yeah, it was
for
quick.
our first bit of qualifications.
Yeah.
And so for these shooters, they had to wait all the time, but they were able to shoot in a practice range just off to our left in our commentating position. So they were well warmed up
Yep.
and under the same lighting. So unfortunately, for our 2 shooters that made it this far, they fall to James Butts, and congratulations to James Butts on 3rd place. So it's Randy Morocco, the first ever in the professional senior category to shoot 120. And Tim Ottis in 2nd place, and James Butts in 3rd. But we still have professional female women shooting off for 3rd place as Morgan Reeves of Mississippi, and that very interesting stabilizer style, the Tim Gillingham we're simply calling it.
Yeah.
It's either that or else the Walker. You know, it depends on what meme you read.
Yeah. It is definitely unique to a certain shooting style.
That's right.
I would agree with that.
And unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of time to talk about Morgan's setup and her stabilizer setup, but let's suffice to say that archery is probably one of the most individualistic sports that you can come across in terms of how you set your bow up and how you're going to shoot your bow, with a couple common things like draw length, and that's pretty much it.
Arrow lengths, potentially.
Maybe like
veins. I don't know. You know, indoors you may see larger veins than outdoors. Like,
yeah, it's just
stuff like
depends.
that. Some things you'll see it's kind of reoccurring across a broad spectrum of people's setups, and then other things, yeah, I mean, it's just
It's archery.
it's archery. That's
all right.
that's all
So
I can say.
we're down to these 3: Madison Cox, Olivia Dean, and Tanya Galantine. Tanya, of course, in the Darton Archery jersey, looking right at you. Now we're going to inside-out scoring. Christopher, tell us what that's about.
So inside-out scoring is they cannot touch the outer line at all of that X ring. So if there is, for instance, right there. So that arrow is touching that line. So that would essentially be 1 point down. Madison Cox got a close one. I think that's going to be fine. Olivia Dean's, that one looked good. So yeah, they cannot touch that line at all. There has to be some white in between their arrow and the inside of that line.
Now let's also talk about the diameter of arrows, because when we get to this inside out, what we have seen that you have not is that most of these archers are going to shoot larger diameter arrows during the qualification rounds, but now when we get inside out, it looks like all 3 of them are shooting skinnier arrows.
Correct. So yeah, you'll see majority of people shoot a larger diameter arrow for the qualifier, is what we're going to call it. You know, that 600, 120 X's. And then you're going to see probably 95% of people, and now it's actually more of a common thing. So I'm going to probably say maybe 100% of people now. I don't know if we'll see anybody tonight actually running the large diameter arrows of what they qualified with.
Of the 20 in the professional men, you think?
Correct.
Too?
Yeah. I think you're going to see everybody go to skinnies. And what we mean by skinnies is it's more of a FIDA arrow. Outdoor long-range target. You can see on Tanya Galantine's setup there, those arrows are super small. Olivia Dean's, there again, super small arrow.
And what we're seeing from these archers right now is just some high, some left, some right, a lot of lines that are being touched or crossed.
And see, here's the thing with switching to a skinny arrow, and people may not think this is a big deal. Well, this completely changes the whole dynamic of the system of what you felt for the 120 qualifying arrows. The setup is probably faster. It's probably a lighter arrow. Unless you have a switchable arrow rest, or they switch the blade, or they've had time to retune their setup for this particular setup, then you may see, you know, some variances in highs and lows, maybe some left and rights here, but I would assume that everybody has done their homework, everybody has a setup, and they're ready to go for this.
There is a second option, and that second option, as we are pretty much, this is the last indoor tournament of the year, is to bring an outdoor bow, especially someone like Tanya Galantine, who bounces back and forth between 50-meter tournaments and ASA tournaments. I mean, there's so many options. Some of these archers flew here, some of these archers drove here, so they can bring more equipment. It is just a total mixed bag. Now, there is a 240-second or a 4-minute clock. There was plenty of time left, but all 5 arrows for each archer is in, and so they call the clock, and Let's see if they get to go to the target. So they'll go close to the target, and then they'll get to see what the arrow calls will be made.
Yeah, they'll stay, you know, 5-6 feet back of the target, and they'll allow these judges to look at each arrow and make a call.
Cox, 23.
All right, so that's the first, that's the benchmark out of 25 points.
Yep.
Madison Cox with 23 points. Now, if Olivia Dean, who we're looking at right there, if she can better that score, she'll be the leader.
Dean, 23.
All right, so we got two 23s.
So if 23 is across the board, we will do this all over again.
See what Tanya Galantine does, or she's eliminated.
I believe we're going to have 23 as well.
Yeah, it's that middle one, right?
Galantine, 23.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll do it again.
Better for all three of these athletes because you can get these nerves or, you know, out of the way at this point, or
if they need to make an adjustment of some sort, you know, like, I don't know, the practice end, you don't really feel what you feel when they say this is for score. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people that can relate to that, I'm sure. Everybody gets nervous, even at this level. I'm sure all three of these ladies are certainly feeling it.
what are they doing now?
So basically when they're doing inside-out scoring, they're probably going to change that target each and every end. And the reason why they're doing that is they want to have nice, crisp lines to where these judges can make a fair call. Say Tanya shot an arrow on the last target, and then she keeps that target up, and she shoots this end, and there's an arrow that goes in that same hole, but slightly different. It's very hard to tell whether that arrow is actually touching the line or not touching the line if it's a close call. So they make it easy on the judges, they make it easy for everybody, and they post a brand new target every single end.
We're at the 2023 NFAA Indoor National Championships here at Louisville International Convention Center. We are shooting for third place in the professional female category, as the #1 spot was won earlier in the day with a perfect 120x score by Paige Pierce. Second place went to Hawaii's Liko Areola, and now we're trying to determine who will be the last person on the podium for the prize money. Closest to you and left part of your screen is Tanya Galantine, in the middle is Olivia Dean, and Kentucky's very own Madison Cox, also with that Darton shirt, and she'll be on the right part of your screen. All right, we just saw Tanya Galantine let down.
Olivia Dean, that's a good one.
That is a really good one. So tell us, why do you think, or you know, what's the point of letting down? Why don't you just stay into it and let the ego ride it and say, I got it, I got it?
There's a lot of reasons. I mean, I have certainly shot some arrows that I have stayed in it and wish I just, you know, drew down, but it's, I don't know, it really depends on where you are in the shot and how you feel, if you can recover from that or not. Drawing down is just an easy reset, clear the mind, you know, unknock that arrow, re-knock it, basically as if you've never really actually started that process before. Just gives the archer a nice little reset, you know, to get right back into it nice and fresh.
Madison Cox with a long hold, and that's another line cut as we are into inside-out scoring. So anytime that arrow touches that line in that inner ring, it's scored as the lower point value.
So Tanya's top left one, kind of a bad angle right there that you've seen. We've seen a different angle on it before, but it's actually going to touch, I do believe. Madison Cox, I think it's got 3 touching the line there. I just seen it real quick, so I didn't.
Yeah, it looks
really
like 3's
pay much
touching the line.
attention to that.
Olivia Dean from
Olivia
New Jersey
Dean has
is
got 4,
yeah,
for
4,
sure.
like not even close ones.
I mean, so this is a big arrow for Olivia Dean. If that one that Tanya had shot, her first one, that top left target, is touching, and Olivia Dean essentially sinks this one, she will round out the podium with a 3rd place finish.
Galantine didn't like her last shot. She grabbed her binoculars, her binos, and she glassed it, as we say in archery, to take a look to see where it landed. Oh, Olivia Dean.
Madison Cox, definitely 2 inside out there. Looks like
Yep.
3 touching. I mean, it's going to come down to that one on Tanya's.
I believe it is.
We didn't get a.
We haven't seen
We
Olivia
didn't get
Dean's
to see
last
Olivia
one.
Dean's last one, so I'm not sure. I mean, I'm just
Looks
going
good.
by what it looks.
Yeah.
It looks
Looks
good.
really good.
It looks solid. So
There's a good chance that Olivia Dean's going to wrap up 3rd place as we look at Madison from Kentucky.
so her score will set the bar.
Cox, 22.
22 out of a total 25 available. That's the benchmark.
Dean, 25.
Perfect
Olivia
score.
Dean has got a perfect score. So it's going to come down to that one. That is close from this angle. Wow.
Judges cannot touch the arrow.
Nope. They cannot touch the target. They can look at it from any which angle they want, from the very back, both sides, high, low, however they.
Gillantine, 25. Give a big round of applause
That
to
was
Madison
as close
Cox.
as you like it. All right, so
She has been
Madison
eliminated.
Cox has been eliminated. Now we're down to 2. Olivia Dean and Tanya Gellantine going for
And we
3rd
will
place
continue with a
in the
tie
professional
between Dean and
female
Gellantine.
category. And this will be our 4th end of competition.
Correct. 4th end of competition and 3rd end of inside-out scoring.
Yeah. Point.
So they will do a target change yet again.
All right, so we're getting ready to shoot our another end of competition here for 3rd place in the professional female freestyle category. We're talking about compound bows here at the Louisville International Convention Center. It's the 2023 NFAA Indoor National Championship. And it's Olivia Dean versus Tanya Gellantine. Olivia Dean in the blue and silver elite jersey, and then Tanya Gellantine, the red and black dart and archery jersey. Those, of course, jerseys define the manufacturer of the bow that they shoot and are representing. Olivia Dean aggressively
Her
just
shots,
getting after it.
look, yeah, I mean, her shot timing right now, she didn't get a new target. I guess,
Probably because
I guess
nothing was
because they were, I
close.
mean, yeah, they were about as dead center as you're probably going to get. Her shot timing is, that's
Another high one.
definitely touched. Doesn't look close, but kind of a weird angle.
Kind of a weird angle, but I don't
think
see
it's
it.
close.
Yeah.
No. I think it's good.
I know Olivia Dean has got her binoculars out, taking a look. Ooh, like she just took a peek at Tanya Gellantine's too. She doesn't need binoculars to see that one's out though. So now Olivia Dean is in the driver's seat. She now holds her fate in her hand with 3 arrows left to go. There's still 170 seconds left of time on the clock.
And her shot has been like, yeah, I mean, her shot has been on time. Like I've been watching our broadcast here and watching the time, and it is the same every single time. Even though I'm sure they're both very nervous, it's not showing.
Definitely not.
You can see her bow arm there just pushing through that shot. And
So good.
there's
right
the
now.
result.
Mhm.
So essentially, now anything can happen, and I don't want to say it can't, but she just has to hit white, and she will round out the podium.
Anything in the white is worth 5 points.
Yeah.
The blue is worth 4 points.
Yes.
And if you miss that dark blue ring, it's a big goose egg.
Yeah.
And she puts it right in there.
5 inside out. She will score another perfect score of 25 and round out the podium with a 3rd place finish here at Indoor Nationals.
We'll still walk down to the target. We still need judges to look at it and confirm it. Not going to be much debate about Olivia Dean's target.
No.
Tanya Gelantine congratulating Olivia Dean.
And Dean, 25.
That is a target to take home.
And Gelantine, 23. Give a big round of applause to Olivia Dean, 3rd place. And Tanya Gelantine, 4th place. Congratulations. And once again, the champion was Paige Pierce, and 2nd place was, who was 2nd place, Chuck? Come on, it's been a long time ago. Oh, Lico, of course. How could I forget?
You remember,
And at
Chuck,
this
you remember
time,
2-time Vegas champ?
We're going to have those winners go over to Cam.
Youngest 2-time Vegas champ.
And you want a microphone, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Take his. I hate to not have one.
One at 13 and 14
okay.
did Lico Ariola. Well, Christopher, if you will excuse me for a second, I am going to make my way over to an interview area and talk to our winners. Actually, I'm going to get to sit right here and do it. I don't know if she's going to be able to hear me. All right, so Paige is set and ready to roll. Well, Paige Pierce, congratulations on another outstanding tournament for you. This time, Paige, you did it all by yourself. 120 perfect arrows, and you won it outright. Tell us about it.
Someone gonna turn her mic on? She had the perfect answer all queued up. We'll get it rolling.
Well, after watching how many inside outs they just shot, I'm glad I wasn't out there. But yeah, I shot a 120 X's here last year, so did Tanya and Lico. I mean, we put in a lot of effort, went out there, and I did not win in the shoot-off. So this year, I actually prepared, so I'd be better out there, and I definitely didn't expect to be the only one with 120 X's this weekend. But it feels good. It feels good, and obviously the girls went out there and just put on a show, so that's even better.
And you and I have talked many times about the struggles of archery, and sometimes it's super easy and sometimes it's a battle. And how was it for you over those last 2 days?
Honestly, the first day was slightly a battle. The second day today felt pretty good until I was the last one standing, and then nerves hit. I'm not used to that feeling. Normally there's a whole bunch of us and we all end up clean, and then we're going out here to shoot off. So I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty nerve-wracking the last half, but I managed to keep them in there.
Well, congratulations being 2023 Indoor Champion, and congratulations to obviously the new bow tech that you shoot. Everything's pounding on it, and you did an outstanding job, and congratulations on that outright win. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Paige Pierce.
Thanks, guys.
Well, next up on the hit list is a guy who did something that has never been done in the professional senior male category to date, shooting a perfect 120 X's, and the outright champion here at the 2023 NFAA Indoor National Championships. It's Randy Morocco.
Randy, that's got to be a great feeling for you. Tell us about your rounds over the last couple of days.
Yeah, it was an amazing feeling. Just like what Paige said, the first day was really rough, but it shook them all in there and just kept on shooting, kept on believing, and came out today, made some adjustments, and everything felt good all the way down to the last arrow. So really blessed, really happy, shooting with some great guys. Usually I'm out here, shooting against other people in the shoot-offs, but it was nice to get that win and get to watch everything from a relaxed position.
Well, let's talk about your competition, because your competition was lined up right next to you, and you could see that your main competition, Keith Trail, had a little bit of a bobble there in the middle of the round. And how did you manage that once you knew the door was open for you to win it?
You hate to see that happen to anybody. You hate to see that to such a fine competitor as Keith is. Keith has been an amazing shooter for many, many years. But it's one of those things where, okay, well, just keep my composure. And Keith is such a wonderful guy. He's like, Randy, I'm going to help you through this. And he encouraged me, and it was just amazing to be in that situation with guys that really care about you. So it was a lot of fun.
Well, congratulations to Matthew shooter Randy Morocco, who won it, and he did it while breaking a record. And Not his first one of the year. He's going to continue to roll through the season. Randy, congratulations, man. It's great to have you up here.
Thank you.
All right, from our broadcast standpoint, as we get our microphones realigned so we can start getting this thing going in terms of the next tournament up, the final of the day. The professional male category coming up. But Christopher Perkins, we saw some great highlights, and Paige Pierce kind of noted how incredible it was to see, especially Olivia Dean just absolutely shredding these inside outs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just phenomenal shooting there on those inside out ends, and I mean, a well-deserved third place.
Let's go to Chuck Cooley, who's going to introduce our archers to the field of play.
Dave Cousins. And from Utah, a two-time Vegas champion, Kyle Douglas. From Minnesota, winning Lancaster in 2022, Nick Cappers. From Alabama, winner of the 2021 Rushmore Rumble, Robert Householder. From Kansas, winner of the 2020 Rushmore Rumble, Jeff Rainey. From Wisconsin, Paris, Texas ASA champion, Lewis Holmes. From Pennsylvania, third place finisher in Vegas, Cody Lippincott. From New York, U.S. Outdoor National Champion, Louis Price. From Colorado, multiple-time Vegas champion, Jacob Pettit. From Wisconsin, 2019 world champion, Jimmy Lutz. From the Netherlands, Mr. Perfect, two-time Vegas champion, Mike Schlosser. From Minnesota, your 2023 Senior USA member and world record holder, Sawyer Sullivan. From Indiana, two-time Fort Benning ASA champion, Dane Johnson. From Canada, his first appearance in a national indoor shoot-off, Austin Taylor. From Wisconsin, previous finisher, second place at Indoor Nationals, Grant Schlusner. From Denmark, your world champion in 2015, Stefan Hansen. From the home state of Kentucky, 2017 World Cup final champion, Braden Galantine. From Wisconsin, finishing in the shoot-down at the Rushmore Rumble. Sorry, got that backwards. From Wisconsin, 660 score, a perfect score at the Lancaster shoot, Zachary Plonsky. From Michigan, who made the shoot down at the Rushmore Rumble, Levi Rietzma. And from Florida, a two-time Vegas champion, Jesse Broadwater.
Who was that
All
last
right.
night?
We've got a lot of experience here. How many of you have been
Another
in
guy
this shoot
looking
more
for
than 3 times?
exactly
Raise your
what I'm
hands.
looking for, one of these.
Just keep them up, 10, 20. Look at these guys. All right, who's first year? Raise your hands. Aha, here we come. Give them one huge round of applause. Excellent shooting. We're going to have some excitement tonight. All right, at this time, you guys can all turn around and go put a target up and your name tags. And we'll get started with your first practice end.
2023 NFAA Indoor National Championships, the professional male category, going for the shoot-off. The top prize of $8,000 plus whatever their bow manufacturer sponsor puts up for contingency, plus a bunch of other money, but also the title of national champion here at the NFAA Indoor Nationals. We had 20 archers that have shot perfect 120 X's from 120 arrows over the last 2 days of shooting. Both tournaments began at 11 a.m. Round number 1. I'm Greg White. Sitting alongside me is Christopher Perkins, who you might know from ASA fame, and he's a world champion, NFAA Shooter of the Year, nearly took $1 million out of Bruce Cull's pocket some years ago. What was that called, the Star?
It was called the 3-Star Tour, yep.
And what was that like?
Basically, it involved 3 tournaments, Vegas, this one, and Dakota Classic. And in order to be in contention for that $1 million was clean in Vegas, so a perfect 900 in Vegas, a perfect 600, 120 X's here, and then Yankton was a little bit different round. It was a 1200 round, and it was shot at 3 distances, 40, 50, and 60 yards. And that was shot on a little bit different face, 50-meter face, 80-centimeter face. The Dakota Classic face was a 92-centimeter face, so a little bit bigger ring. However, it worked backwards. You started at the close distance, and you worked your way to the far distance. And it was over a course of 2 days, 600 round each day.
And you had to shoot X's on all of it.
You just needed to shoot a perfect score of 1,200.
And you were one.
I shot at 1199.
Oh.
And I still have that target, and I can still visualize that shot.
The one that you missed?
Yes.
The only one that you cared about
the
and all
only
that.
one,
Yeah.
and I am reminded quite frequently about it.
Yeah. All right, so as Bruce Cull is explaining that these archers are going to shoot their first practice end. If you're new to archery, every time we shoot a group of arrows, depending on the game, in this particular game, it's 5 arrows. And then the clock stops and we go down and score the arrows or look at the arrows. It's called an end. So Christopher Perkins, tell us a little bit about the field of play. We're looking at compound archers, but how far is the distance and what target are we looking at?
Yeah, so if you're just joining us, we're shooting a distance of 20 yards here. At a little bit different face than what you would normally see. This is a 5-spot face. Talked about it before, but like I said, if you're just joining us, there's only 1 ring inside that white. That is our X ring. And as we progress through this shoot-off, you'll hear us talk about inside-out scoring. We'll get to that once we get to that stage. This is the first end of practice. We'll then have a first end of regular scoring. Anything in the X is 5. And then we will go to inside-out scoring. Now, we have 20 shooters here. Once we get down to a certain number of shooters, which I believe is 7 or less, we will go to single arrow. So basically what happens there is you'll have one person shoot, and then you'll have the next person shoot, and it just goes down the line. What you see here is everybody shooting at the same time. We won't have that once we get to 7 archers or less.
So that could take some time, and they'll have 30 seconds each arrow when that happens. The clock is 4 minutes, 240 seconds that archers have to execute these 5 shots. I would say generally, you know, when you're in your normal round, there's normally, what, 180 seconds left on the clock when most people are done shooting?
Yeah, so in World Archery, it's 20 seconds an arrow. And we have the factors of wind, where in here, there's nothing. There's the shooter and the target.
Yeah, and, you know, so for a lot of people, I think, you know, if you're not comfortable with the shot, having the extra time to let the arrow down, let the shot down, reset a couple of times might be beneficial. But by and large, I think you see most people, you know, get done, and there's at least normally a minute to spare. So some of these archers already completed. There's 2 minutes left on the clock.
They'll stand there in the respect of the archer around them that still has you know, potentially an arrow or two to shoot. You'll see that a lot. That archer may be done their 5 arrows, you know, within that minute 20, minute 30, but they'll stand there in respect to the archers around them that are still have to finish.
Here's crowd favorite Dane Johnson. Dane is a father, expected to be. Dane, of course, a great shooter in his own right, and also hearing impaired since birth, and really is on the move to talk and to share with other hearing impaired people how great archery is for enjoyment of the sport. We talked to him too about, in years past, and actually months past, about the hearing aids that he has to boost the hearing. And I asked him if he ever in high pressure situations turned it off, you know, which might give him a little bit of an advantage, but he said, you know what, he likes to keep it on because he doesn't want to use his hearing impairment as an advantage to any competition he has.
Right.
All right, so the order in which they were introduced, which is Dave Cousins. So we have 10 targets set up here. From left to right is target 1 on the left side. On the right side is target 10. So if we start on target number 1, it's Jesse Broadwater and Levi Reitzma, and then Zach Plonsky and Braden Galantine on target 2, Stefan Hansen and Garrett Schleusner, and then Austin Taylor, Dane Johnson on target 5, Sawyer Sullivan, Mike Schlusser. Target 6 is Jimmy Lutz, Jacob Pettit. 7 is Louis Price and Cody Lippincott. Target 8 is Louis Holmes, who hopes to rename Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville number 3. Jeff Rainey, Robert Householder's on 9, Nick Cappers also on 9, then Kyle Douglas and Dave Cousins. First end of scoring.
This is regular scoring, so X counts as 5. So they just have to touch that line. It doesn't have to cut through it. They just have to physically touch it to where there's no white between the arrow and the line.
And I'm keen to look at some of the arrows. So the max diameter arrow in NFAA is what?
2712. So the max diameter is actually 421 thousandths.
Okay.
So.
But that's not what we're seeing most archers here in this finals competition.
No, and I do see at least one shooter.
I think it was Louis Holmes
shooting 27s or a larger diameter shaft.
Yeah, I can see a gold tip.
Grant Schleusner's, he is running a larger diameter arrow as well. But like I had talked about before, and there again, if you're just joining us, what you're going to see here, we have ends of what we would call inside-out scoring. Dane Johnson's, for instance, you can see between his and Austin Taylor's, the size difference in arrow. Austin Taylor essentially has an advantage over Dane Johnson when it comes to inside-out scoring. However, it does change the dynamic feel of the entire system that they have shot with all weekend.
So this is a good opportunity if your setup is really close to get that fine-tuning in. If you get beyond this first end of arrow competition and you're in it for the inside outs, we can see that at target number 1, Jesse Broadwater. Wasn't Jesse really a few years ago one of the first people to kind of come out and start to change the arrow diameter at a tournament like this? Probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, when I first started shooting this, I believe Jesse and Dave have been the only 2 archers to potentially shoot skinnies the entire way through and actually shoot 600 120s.
Oh yeah, right. Yep.
I mean, I could be completely wrong. It could be other people that have done it before, but that I have seen, those 2 shooters, I do believe have run a perfect score of 600 120 with skinnies the entire way through.
It's going to be interesting to see what happened to Dave Cousins, because I think his last arrow is the bottom right target. It looked like it drifted a little bit left. Still 106 seconds on the clock, plenty of time.
I don't have binos, but I'm going to
now.
get a pair. Yep. Yeah, so we're going to lose Dave on that one.
As long as somebody, the first 19 people before him, if somebody shot a perfect 25.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about this archer right here. This is Sawyer Sullivan. One thing I can tell you, I shot with him at this tournament on a bale with him one day last year, And one thing that Sawyer Sullivan has committed himself to is to shoot the shot he wants to shoot. He doesn't care that everybody else is done. He doesn't care that there was 70 seconds on the clock, but he was going to take his time. And it's an awfully big lesson for young archers to learn.
Yeah, you don't want to rush it, and especially having that amount of time on the clock, you have a lot of time to reset, regroup, you know, essentially do a whole mental reset on that shot. You know, shake it off, whatever nerves you got, kind of calm them a little bit, and get the ball rolling again as a reset shot.
All right, so our first scores come in, and the bar is set. Perfect 25 for
Reitzman,
Jesse
25.
Broadwater.
So the judges here, they're going to scoot down this line pretty quick. If they don't see anything that's close, they're going to call it right away.
Blonsky, 25. Galantine, 25.
Braden Galantine, of course, making the big switch to Darton.
Thumbs up there.
Yeah.
Hansen, 25.
Stephen Hansen making a big switch as well to Matthews.
Past winner here in Louisville.
Slushner, 25.
I believe Hansen has won twice, 2016 and 2019, if I do recall. And I believe the 2019 would have been in Cincinnati.
Oh, that's right.
Taylor, 25.
So Austin Taylor, Canadian friend. He's from Manitoba. He's been down here for 4 years in Kentucky in college. Not exactly sure which college he's at, but he's down here.
Ooh, Dane Johnson had a low one. Looks like
He's got a close one, but I...
Johnson, 24.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that's going to
Give him a
bite.
big round of applause. He's been eliminated from the competition.
One heck of a weekend for Dane.
Sullivan, 25.
Sawyer Sullivan, who took his time.
Slosher,
Texas
25.
A&M. Student.
Mikey Slosher, past
Lutz,
winner.
25.
2015 for
Ah,
Mikey.
look at you doing your homework.
Pettit, 25.
I've been here for a lot of years. I was trying to figure it out. I think.
Price, 25.
Gosh, I'm in the teens. I've been shooting this tournament in
is
the
that
teens.
right?
I have shot this tournament a long time. This was actually
Lippincott, 25.
my very first out of country tournament, I want to say, that I've shot. Target.
Holmes,
I used
25.
to shoot IBOs before, so I've shot the IBOs lots when in my younger days. But
There's Louis Holmes.
Rainey, 25.
Jeff Rainey as focused as ever.
Householder, 25.
ASA Shooter of the Year.
Cappers,
Years past.
25.
The Cappers, who went on a tear last year.
Douglas,
Still holding
25.
Kyle Douglas, he's won a couple.
yep. Few from what I got here on my little piece
Cousins,
of paper.
24. Give Dave a big round of applause. He's been
Fortunately
eliminated
for
from the
Cousins, he's
shoot-off.
out. So we lost Dane Johnson and Dave Cousins, and now we're down to 18.
Archers, if you would please take your targets down and put up a new one.
But now
We're
things
now
start
gonna be
to
scoring
tighten up a little bit.
inside
So you
the
things are
mentioned,
gonna
you
start
mentioned
to get
Kyle Douglas,
interesting.
though. Kyle Douglas, of
Yep.
course, has won it 3 times in a
Kyle
row. Is that
Douglas,
correct?
20, 21, and 22. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if anybody has ever done that.
I don't know if anybody's done that either. I mean, I know that you were looking at some of the history that the NFAA has posted,
Yeah,
and it only went back so far.
Yeah, it went back to 2015, and I wrote down basically the shooters that are in this shoot-off tonight, who has won previous years. And like I had said, Mikey 2015, Stefan Hansen 2016, 2019. And then, yeah, Kyle Douglas 2021, 22.
And you know what's interesting is that, thinking back to it, Levi Morgan, the year that he won Indoor Nats, he shot skinnies the entire way from start to finish as well. So definitely we were talking about that a little while ago.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shot. I was in that shoot-off, I think. That was here. That was in Louisville, Kentucky. I remember that one. That one was like 2012 or something in there. I think he shot like a 22 series or a hunting shaft, actually, I think is what he shot.
I think Nathan Brooks also was one of the archers who won it, possibly, I think 2 or 3 times in a row. There's been a few over the years, but as of late, Kyle Douglas on a tear. All right. So what Bruce Cull is telling the crowd and the archers now, he's describing inside-out scoring. So once again, as we move to our second end of competition, Christopher Perkins in the booth. I'm Greg White. We're here at the 2023 NFAA Indoor National Championships. We're shooting off in the freestyle professional male category. We started with 20 after the first end. We are down to 18. And Christopher Perkins, give us the rundown on inside-out scoring.
Yeah, so inside-out scoring is simply that, inside-out scoring. These archers cannot touch anywhere on that X line. So there has to be some white in between their arrow in the line. It can be paper thin as long as that judge can distinctly tell that there's white there. So this is where the skinnies have a huge advantage. You have a lot of room to play with versus the bigger shafts.
That 10 ring, of course, the same size as the 10 ring on a Vegas face. So that would be a 4 centimeter, because they're 40 centimeter targets, right? So that'd be a 4 centimeter 10 ring, which is the size of a US silver dollar.
Silver dollar, yep. There's a good looking step in there. Nice and relaxed, pull through, surprise shot. Don't know if he liked it.
Not really a big fan of that one. All right, so we're looking at Kyle Douglas, who was partnered up on the bail with Dave Cousins, who is out. So Kyle Douglas making a big switch. He's now shooting a Bowtech.
He's got 3 inside out.
And Nick Cappers is next to him, the elite shooter. And then
Nick
of course,
has got 4 house holders, 4 in.
Jeff
Rainey, I think he's gonna have one that's a screamer. Louis Holmes, he doesn't have a good one. Well, Louis shot big arrows in the first 2 ends and now switched to skinny, so I don't know if he forgot to potentially move his sight, because it's really high.
Yeah, he shot.
So we're definitely going to lose a few here.
It's 18 targets for you to look at. It's a long way around.
Austin
Oh yeah,
Taylor,
you see Louis Holmes on the left part of your screen. You can see that one that's way high on the first one. You're right, that's an indicator. Maybe he forgot to reset his sight, and then all of a sudden it was right in there. That would be an absolute heartbreaker.
Gallantine's got a really close one. Grant's got a really close one.
Sawyer Sullivan.
Austin Taylor's got 2 really close. I'm going to say 1 is definitely touching.
So what you're looking at here is
Mikey's got a close one. I mean, we've got lots of close ones. It's going to come down to what the judges see versus to what I can see from way over here. But there's definitely some shooters down there that got full value of 25.
That will be the benchmark score. And then others, like you can see Louis Price, is the upper right target. That one's touching. That one's definitely got to be counted as low points. So when we get to the bails here, Bruce Cull will have the microphone. We're going to listen in, and we're going to listen for that first top score that'll set the benchmark, but we expect 25 to do it, and we'll see who gets eliminated.
Yeah, so the judge is going to take a little bit more time here
25
to call the arrows.
Reitzma, 25. Plonsky, 24.
So we're going to lose Zach, 24.
Gillantine, 24.
Okay, so Plonsky's out.
Hansen, 24.
Braden's out. Hansen's out.
He did not like that one that we seen him shoot.
No.
I don't know if that was that error or not.
Slushner, 23.
So Grant, going to lose him as well. Austin Taylor, I know, has got 1 for sure touching. That top left one, that is close. That judge took a look at it here and see what he got.
Where is he from?
He's from Manitoba.
The pride of Manitoba.
Yeah.
Austin Taylor.
So he is the next province over.
So you're still the pride of your province. So you're good.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It takes me 23.5 hours from my doorstep to reach the Manitoba border.
That's a province, all right.
Yes. It's so weird driving down here. I blink my eyes, I'm in a different state.
Taylor,
At home,
24.
I remain in Ontario for an entire day.
Yeah.
We'll lose Austin Taylor. Heck of a weekend
here in the
for
States,
that guy.
that's going
Sullivan,
right through Texas
25.
on I-40.
That's right. Mikey, that's a close one.
Slosher, 24.
Yeah.
All right. So he'll be thinking about that on his trip back home.
So how many have we lost?
Lutz, 24.
Now with Lutz, that's 7.
I've
Pettit,
been in
25.
that situation. I have been eliminated on the first end of inside outs. It's draining. I mean, you work so hard on the
Price,
weekend and just
20.
it's tough.
24.
It's tough out there. As many times as I hear it, you guys look like steel out there. You don't look like you have any nerves. Well, I'll tell you what, everybody standing up there right now, doesn't matter how much they have won, they feel it. They know what's going on, and they know what's at stake.
Oh, yeah.
That's a close one right there. I think he might get that one.
And again, it's where the arrow is at rest, not the actual hole that's punched in the paper.
Yeah, so if it basically reshapes that hole, so if it's not a perfect arrow hole, what the judges are looking at right here is having to recreate that line. So you can't pull it. You can't.
Lippincott, 25.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably what I could see right there for sure.
Because, yeah, the initial hit may have touched that line, but where that arrow was at rest, there was a gap there.
Correct, yeah, and that arrow may whip as it enters that target, right? It may oblong that hole a little bit. So the judges have
Rainey,
to take a look at
24.
that, recreate that line, and give it an assessment it needs.
Householder, 25.
Jeff Rainey's out.
Cappers, 24.
Nick Cappers drops.
We're going to lose half the field here.
And Douglas, 25. Give a big round of applause to everybody that shot less than a 25.
We had
They've been
18
eliminated.
that were beginning this end number 2. As we went to inside-out scoring, we lost 11 in that mix. So we started off with, yeah, so we lost some really heavy hitters. I mean, Braden Galantine out. And
so this is actually a perfect time to mention that we only have 7 now.
That's right.
So what we'll do here is this is going to completely change
Those of you that shot 25s,
what we've
you can put
been
your
seeing.
targets down and your
So what's
name
going to happen
badge,
here
and the judges will reassign
is they're
you
going
a
to
line.
bring everybody into the center of the field. So for instance, we're looking at Kyle Douglas here. He is on the very last bale. He is going to move likely a couple bales down to the center of this field. And what's going to happen is they're going to run it individual shots. So everybody, you're going to get 30 seconds to shoot that arrow, and it's just going to be essentially like a domino effect. One shooter, as soon as that shooter shoots, the next person time starts, and so on and so forth.
how does that affect the mental, you know, it's like, you know, when you have 18 shooters, you can kind of get lost. You know, the crowd might not be looking at me. You can kind of tune it out. But now you're in a situation where you're stepping up to the plate and you have 30 seconds to execute one arrow at a time, and you know all eyes are on you. How does that play into it?
Well, this completely changes the dynamic of the field because you can't get into your rhythm. You can't get up there and shoot your same shot you've been shooting all weekend where you just, you know, you shoot, you load, you shoot, you load, you shoot. Now, if you're the first person guy, you have to wait for 6 others to shoot. So you're going to wait a few minutes before you get to shoot your second arrow. So essentially you've cooled off. So it's basically like starting another end completely over again for each individual shot.
Is this something, when you're at home, would you kind of set a clock, a timer, and practice this, or do you kind of go like, look, I can deal with this rhythm?
I honestly don't know if you can mimic it.
Yeah, it'd be
Like, you have the pressure. Sure, you could do the timing thing at home.
yeah, right.
You
like,
don't have the pressure.
Hang out for 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes,
and you
then
don't
shoot.
have, I don't know, 500 people looking at you.
Yeah, good point.
So you are the focal point when your time starts. Everybody is watching what you do. And trust me, this crowd will let you know whether you hit it or you miss it.
This is a highly educated archery crowd. One of the things that's great about the NFAA Indoor National Championships is that pro shooters show up before amateurs show up. So they have their first round on Friday. We're now here Saturday night. Amateurs shot all day today, and then they finish up tomorrow. So it's an outstanding opportunity for all these amateurs that are already here, all these families that are already here, to get some great evening entertainment on their in-between rounds. That's also a great motivator too for those that are a little tired after shooting 60 arrows. For a lot of the amateurs, because they don't get to shoot as many, it's another motivator to get going for tomorrow. All right, so Jesse Broadwater's going to line up first. He's going to be the first one to send his first arrow down range. He has 30 seconds to execute the shot. He's got 20 left on the clock. And let's see what the freak show gets done.
Yep. So fresh faces. And you're going to hear Chuck make these calls through the scope. So I'm not going to really have to tell you what's going on. And we're going to see a nice camera angle on each individual shot too, so you're going to see what's going on too.
That was Levi Rietzma out of Michigan. Now here's Sawyer Sullivan.
5.
This is one of those for Sawyer that's interesting, because 30 seconds is a long time, but Sawyer likes to let down if he's not feeling the shot.
You have time to let down on 30 seconds. World Archery, 20 seconds. You don't really have that time. By the time you draw, set up, start to aim, you've used 6-7 seconds there.
Now we saw Jacob Pettit. He has a thumb button release. Now what are we looking at with Cody Lippincott?
We're looking at a hinge. So basically what he's doing is he's transitioning weight. Ooh,
5-4 liner.
Going to be a close one.
I think that's
don't think he's going to get one. So we're going back to his release. So basically what he's doing, he's likely pulling, but also transitioning weight from his index finger to his middle finger and his ring finger. And basically what's happening there is you have a bail and you have a sear. So the bail is essentially the hook that's holding on to the D-loop. And what's happening is it's rolling on a half moon, which is the sear.
5.
And then there's just an edge where it just drops off. And that's when the shot fires.
Yep.
So we still have 4 arrows apiece for these shooters, and you can see that Lippincott looks like it's a 4. Upper left-hand part of your screen, we're going to keep the unofficial score tab for you.
5.
Maximum score is 25 per end. So far, Jesse Broadwater, after his second arrow, looks to be clean, inside-out scoring.
5.
From what I was told, Levi had one heck of a target today. It was tight.
And when what we mean by that is when you clean it at the pro level, nobody even considers what the score of 300. Everybody just talks about how many X's and inside outs, and that's the game you play.
We want to know the X count, but we also want to know how many inside outs you have.
5.
Jacob Pettit really gives us a good idea of how his aiming process is. He likes to start above the target and settle down into the target. When you shoot, Christopher Perkins, how is your shot process? What does your sight look like?
So I come from top down. Reason for that is, you know, when you're holding something that has
4.
Oh wow, household, that's a high one.
So when you have something that has like mass weight, you know, and like relatively heavy mass weight, it's hard to get that to come from bottom up. There are some shooters that do it.
4.
Oh my goodness.
Kyle Douglas shaking his head from
I prefer coming from top down because that allows me to set my front shoulder. So if you look at Jesse, his front shoulder is low.
5.
So he's nice and low, nice and flat. And then there again, Levi Rietzma, if you look at his back shoulder and you look at his front shoulder, nice and flat, good level.
5.
But we're going to look at Cody Lippincott, and I want to point this out once we get to him. There again, Sawyer Sullivan,
It's a little higher, maybe on
It's
the
a
shoulder.
little higher.
But I mean, not much that you would even.
No.
So there's Pettit. You can see how high he is, and watch him settle into the shot. Settles
So
his
he
anchor.
anchors relatively high on his face. But there again, nice low front shoulder. Just a strong executed shot. So Cody Lippencott's here. And you'll see, well, I guess not from this angle, you won't. But you'll see his front shoulder is a slightly, right there, so slightly higher than everybody else's.
5-4 liner.
He's pushing and pulling, and that's allowing him to roll through that release. Where Robert Housel, we have a thumb button here, so he's going to set his thumb on the barrel and just essentially touch it off.
So many different ways to do it.
There's a lot of methods to the madness out here.
But the key in archery is whatever method you have, and it goes in the middle, is repeatability.
Yes. So unofficially, we have 3 people, sorry, that potentially have one that is touched a line. A couple for sure that we know 5%. Jesse's a solid 4 inside out.
He looks like he is confident right now, Broadwater. He's executing through the shot. And sometimes if we see him in a groove,
Levi's is solid. He wasn't sure of that one, but nice strong shot inside out.
We're in our third end of scoring at the 2023 NFAA Indoor National Championships. We started with 20, we're down to 7, and we're shooting 1 at a time with a 30-second per arrow clock. The moment that your competitor's arrow contacts the target, your 30-second clock starts. Jacob Pettit.
4.
And that's a bottom left target for Pettit.
So this is where things get really, really interesting. You can see on your top left screen, top left of your screen, we have Levi Rietzma and Jesse Broadwater.
5.
At for sure unofficial scores of 20. Everybody else on this field has at least touched one line so far. Some close ones, but here's the thing.
5.
If everybody touches a line and potentially shoots at 24, we will get to do this all over again.
So for Broadwater and Rietzma, they're kind of
5.
in the driver's seat.
Yeah, so Broadwater's going to set the bar right here. So he is really in the driver's seat with this arrow. This is a big arrow right now.
Four.
Oh, okay, so now Levi Rietzma is in the driver's seat.
If he shoots a 5, this could be it. Rietzma
If he
could
shoots
win
a
it all.
5, he's
5.
yeah,
I think that's
so
it.
right there.
Yeah.
Crowd lets us know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really at a great angle here, but Levi Rietzma may just have the 2023 Indoor Nationals.
For sure, everybody else here.
His without a doubt.
Yeah.
All inside out. There is no questionable arrows. Sawyer Sullivan has 2. He has 1 touching for sure. I mean, I'm at a bad angle, but I don't want to call it right now without having official, but
5.
And by the way, if we have a tie for second place, if the winner is announced, and we'll shoot off for second place after this.
5.
And you can see that middle arrow for Cody Lippincott.
I think it's a tough angle from this one with Jesse's. I think Levi's got it.
That would be special.
5.
Michigan, who is one of the most popular states populating the 2023 NFAA Indoor National Championships. For that state to take home a victory would be outstanding. So now the pressure's on. You can see Kyle Douglas definitely has a line cutter, upper right-hand corner. That's 24 for him. Now we'll hand it off to Bruce.
Yeah, I mean, the only questionable one for me is this call right here, Jesse Broadwater's.
Could this be decided on end number 3?
If Jesse gets this 25, we will do this again for sure. Because him and Levi, come on, give us a better angle.
It's
here.
a bottom right one. Bottom right one. Judges are going to be looking at it.
Yeah, I want
the
to
rest
see
of
this.
them aren't.
Broadwater, 24.
There you go.
Ooh, that's it.
Levi for sure.
Yep.
Just 1. Is this his first shoot off?
Reitzma, 25.
I believe it is. I'm not sure he understands what just happened.
I don't think he does. I think he has an idea, but it has not hit yet. He's got a little,
Sullivan,
he's got a little smirk,
24.
so
He's
he's
a smart kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations, you guys. Your shooting's not
Pettit,
over.
24.
You're shaking hands, but you're gonna
Yeah,
have
we
to shoot
get
off
to-
for second,
Yeah.
and this could take a while.
Better order some pizza, peeps.
Well, we are in Louisville, Kentucky, so maybe some KFC.
Oh.
Ooh.
So Cody with a potential 23 here.
Yeah, could knock himself out of
He could
contention
knock
for a
himself
podium.
out of, yeah. That one is close. I can't see it clearly enough to. So you can see the judges here. They have a magnifying glass. Basically, he's doing the best that he possibly can to look at that arrow. And
Lippincott, 23.
yeah, so he did his best there to make a judgment call to potentially
Householder,
recreate that line.
24.
25 was the highest score.
And
Levi
Douglas,
Reitzma.
24.
So
Give
yeah,
a
we
big
have-
round of
we have
applause.
quite a few.
The
It's Levi Reitzma.
national champion. Is it right here? Levi Reitzma. Give him a huge round of applause. Congratulations, man. Good shoot. Now, everybody with a 24, pull your arrows, and we're going to go shoot for second and third.
Somebody needs
And
to
of
get a
course,
picture
fourth,
with
fifth,
that
and
kid
sixth,
with
because
his
there's money for
target.
everybody.
100%. Anybody want to take a picture with me? Anyone? Bueller? Bueller?
At least he's going to pull him or leave him there. I hope he at least gets. There we go.
Yeah,
Yes,
there you go.
Those of you
Jesse,
that are
of
still
course.
in with 24s, please
That's
put up
a
a
big
new
deal.
target face.
It's a big deal.
This is, I think, one of the. How do I explain it? It's difficult. It's kind of strange. Levi doesn't get to celebrate everything right now because we've got to, we've got to still shoot off for second place. But for Levi Reitzma, he's going to come over here and hopefully have a little chit chat with us about his win as this field of play gets set up and shoots off for the second, third, fourth, fifth positions. It's between some massive heavy hitters. Broadwater, Sullivan, Pettit, and of course trying to go for the four-peat. Ball, he fell a point short. Kyle Douglas. Well, we're going to get the headset on Levi, and he is set and ready to roll. And Levi, can you hear me right now?
Yes, sir.
I don't even know what to say other than congratulations. You are the 2023 NFAA Indoor National Champion. How are you feeling right now?
I don't really know what to feel right now at the moment, to be honest.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, man. How old are you and where are you from?
I'm from Michigan, turned 18 like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, well, not
He's got to
bad.
be close to one of the youngest to ever win this
I
tournament.
would have to imagine so, for sure. $8,000 wealthier to boot. And tell us about your experience here at the NFAA Indoor Nationals. How many times have you been here? How many times have you been in this position?
This is my first time here. Never shot indoor until this year, so we're figuring it out. And yeah,
I would say you got to figure it out.
working on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is your first time shooting this event and this target?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And what do you normally shoot?
3D. That's what I've shot for my whole life. for the
Well,
last
this is
6
quite
years,
a
so-
higher volume arrow count for
Oh,
sure.
yeah. It wears you out, that's for sure.
How did you feel that the 2 days of the 120 went for you?
They were good. It took a long time today, that's for sure. But almost got into 3D pace and just shoot your arrows and yeah.
Well, listen, congratulations. You're the champion. If I
Thank
were
you,
you,
sir.
I would start traveling around with a Sharpie because there's going to be a lot of autographs you're going to have to start signing.
Thank you, sir.
All right, and I want to make sure, how do we properly pronounce your last name?
Reitzma.
All right, so it's Levi Reitzma, your 2023 indoor champion in the
Thank you, sir.
professional male freestyle category. Great
Feels
talking
good.
to you.
Yep, thank you.
All right. So there's your champ, and now Christopher Perkins.
Now we get to figure out who rounds out the podium in second and third.
The best of the rest. And here we go. So that took 3 ends of competition. This is our 4th end.
And just like that, there's 5.
And what a pedigree of 5 we have.
Yes.
All right, so it's inside-out scoring. We are in our 5th scoring end.
So this is really weird. Everybody's shooting all at once again.
Yeah, everybody is shooting all at once again. I think it's a good way to do it, actually. Take the pressure off. Because, you know, you've been in this situation before? Where you shot for second place?
No. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I just... I've shot for all the positions.
All the positions.
All the positions.
Okay. Takes the pressure off. Has to.
It does, yeah, absolutely. Not at this particular event, but I have shot off with Jesse Broadwater for second in Vegas. And I'll tell you what, once that first place is already scooped up, at this point it's just like, whatever, you know, here we are.
I mean, there's still dollar bills on the line, but that's not really the end-all be-all.
Yeah, but I'll be honest with that. When it comes down to dollar bills and everybody's like, oh my God, you know, like you get up on that line and you start, you start talking about, you know, $50,000 to win Vegas or $8,000 here, you know. Yeah, that all adds up, but not once do those dollar signs ever cross these people's mind out on this line. There is way too much to think about. They're focusing on themselves and the target, and that's it.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially if you come and compete. And oh, by the way, just like Levi Reitzma, who had been here for his first time, this is a place for professionals and amateurs. And it's a place for amateurs to meet and greet and see and learn from professional archers like yourself, Christopher Perkins. There is a pavilion area here. Some of the top manufacturers in the sport are right here as well. We encourage everybody, if you're thinking about it, you need to come out and participate in the NFAA Indoor National Championship. We know it's late in the season. We know a lot of people have already started 3D shooting, but you know what? You can always shoot whatever errors you have 3D, bring them right here, just set the 20-yard mark and let it rip. All right, we're shooting off for second place. First place, Levi Reitzma, already done and dusted, $8,000. Second place will earn $4,000. Third place, $2,500. We're looking for the first score. For Jesse Broadwater, it's 24 points. That's the benchmark.
So we'll have, he's 25.
25, sorry, yeah.
I was like, what are you looking at?
Well, I mean, they popped it up on the screen. I was just calling it.
Sawyer's going to have 3 close ones. Wow.
Sullivan, 23.
Okay, yep. So back to Levi.
Pettit, 25.
First time here, first time shooting this target. No expectations. Coming in here, focusing on what he knows
Householder,
he can
24.
do with his shot. And just, I mean, just flat
And
out
Douglas,
laid it
25.
down.
Give a big round of applause to those that didn't shoot at 25. They have been eliminated. And we'll have another shoot-off for second, third, and fourth.
Well, Bruce said it all. So second, third, and fourth place. Sullivan is gone. Householder is gone. Householder will start to prepare for his next event coming up next weekend. Everybody on the road, including yourself, Christopher Perkins, heading down to Georgia for ASA competition.
Yep.
As
Fort Benning.
Fort Benning, as we're back outside. Fingers crossed for outstanding weather.
Yeah. Looking at the weather, I hope it changes.
What's the forecast?
It was a lot of rain.
Oh boy. Don't bring your favorite shoes. Don't bring your favorite shoes to Fort Benning.
Yeah, and that place can be muddy.
It might be.
But nonetheless, it's going to be a great
All right,
weekend
we will
of shooting.
continue shooting
course
for
it will
second, third, and fourth place here. The same thing, one full end of 5 arrows. X counts as 5, scored inside out. Good luck.
I'm going to say something a little controversial, Christopher Perkins. I actually really, really enjoy shooting in the rain.
I've shot in it all.
You know why I like shooting in the rain? Because people don't like to. So that gives me an advantage. So I convince myself that I enjoy shooting in the rain. The only change I have to make in the rain is I've got to take out my clarifier lens.
Yeah.
Because that's a bad move. That is just a bad move.
Yeah.
All right, so we are into our 5th end of competition. We're trying to figure out who's going to be second, third, fourth place in the freestyle professional male category here at the 2023 NFAA Indoor National Championships. As you can see, Jesse Broadwater with his factory staff Hoyt shirt. Those shirts now defining the factory professional archers that Hoyt has. So this shirt exclusive to the archers, from what I'm being told, Christopher Perkins. Can't buy it in your archery shop anymore, so you know when you show up and you see jerseys like Jesse's wearing, you know that you're looking at an elite archer.
That is 3 nice ones.
Yeah, I just think as many times as Jesse's been up to the plate and as close as he got, he was literally 1 millimeter too low on one shot. He would have gone off to shoot off with Levi Reitzma.
I think you're going to see second and third take a little bit here.
We started with 20. In the first end of competition, which was normal scoring, regular scoring, we had 2 drop, Dane Johnson and then Dave Cousins. We went to inside-out scoring, and immediately we lost 11. We were at 18, down to 11, then we went to 7, and we were shooting 1 at a time, and it only took one end after we got down to the final 7 that Levi Reitzma, in his first competition here at the NFAA Indoor National Championships, first time shooting this target face, no expectations, as Christopher Perkins pointed out, was able to win and become national champion. Then we had our 4th end, inside out scoring, to determine second and third place, and Sawyer Sullivan and Householder were sat. So we're down to these 3, and we're looking for the highest score on the field, and those to tie it to continue, or if you shot less than that, you're out.
Right.
Unless there's a 25,
yep,
and 2 have 24s,
right,
then we're going to have to shoot off for third place.
Right. So we're actually going to see 2 shooters to round out the podium here. We're going to see Jesse Broadwater and Kyle Douglas.
Broadwater, 25.
25 the benchmark. And Christopher
Pettit,
Perkins
24.
knows what he's talking about. So Jacob Pettit had a good long run.
He's going to finish in 4th.
Douglas, 25. Give a big round of applause to Jacob Pettit. He has received 4th place. Congratulations,
man.
So this could go on for a bit.
This could go on for a little bit.
Like we had talked about before, after the first place is gone, the expectations kind of mellow out a little bit. The nerves go away, and
the crowd,
these guys get in their rhythm, and
even the crowd kind of has a bit of a sigh of relief as well. The intensity has left the room a bit, but still a huge crowd here. Taking a look at some of the best in the business. After 3 in a row, Kyle Douglas trying to get after second place against Jesse Broadwater, a legend in his own right, the freak show. If you're new to archery and you're looking for products that you put on your compound bow to shoot and you see freak show, that is Jesse Broadwater signature equipment.
Counts as 5, scored inside out.
Inside out scoring remains our 6th end of competition. It was all the way back in end number 3 where our champion, Levi Reitzma, was decided. Now we're here deciding the last 2 steps on the podium.
That one's good.
Great call.
And Jesse's is about as middle as you were going to get. And another one.
Man, I think you got a future in this.
Ow. Wow. Ouch.
Are we going to have 3 different manufacturers on the podium too?
We will.
Reitzma shooting.
Matthews.
Then of course we have Hoyt and Bowtech. Matthews proven once again the quality of shooters they're able to scope out. Middle, middle, middle.
Yeah.
Inside out scoring, if you're new, if any of these archers' arrows touches that line, the lower point value is counted. But right now it looks like both these archers have maximum value per arrow. Kyle Douglas with another one, so his tick will go to 20. Broadwater just released his. And it looks like that'll be a 5 as well.
Broadwaters are, yeah, like as about as center as you can make them. Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle just has that release that we've seen, especially with shooting this Bowtech, that when it just comes off his hand well, it's just no stopping it, no denying it. Well, that was end number 6. And Christopher Perkins and I, even though we actually didn't say it out loud, I think we did it just purely by brain power, is we're going to go to an end number 7.
Broadwater, 25.
Yeah, so I mean, basically at this point, both of these shooters are just in a rhythm that just, I mean.
And Douglas,
they
25.
Can do it all day.
We'll do it again.
And that's what we could be facing.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what we could be seeing here.
So if you include the practice arrow shot, the first end of practice, we're already 40 arrows deep for these 2 shooters. Levi Reitzma did a great job for himself. I mean, he only had to shoot 20 arrows to win the national championship, but we're at 40 now for these 2.
For all the other spectators, which most of you are archers in here, your shooting times for tomorrow have, of course, been already posted, but your particular times, you'll receive an email 30 minutes after we're done with this.
And you may hear Bruce Cole talk about that. So
NFAA
NFAA partners with INCO.net,
right, guys.
the scoring system. They do an outstanding job of keeping everyone up to date as to when you come here to compete, what target bail and what time you're going to shoot. You get an email about it, and it's really quite a great system. You can go back and look at your data for as long as you like. All right, so there's an initial setup clock that goes for about 10 seconds, and then the official clock starts to shoot.
Yep.
Kyle Douglas gave that one a little bit of a push, but it worked. Jesse.
Same hole.
This is the one he wished he had back in end number 3 against Levi Reitzma. Kyle Douglas getting on that button.
Ooh.
Probably didn't affect him. Yep.
See, I can't do that.
And you know, Kyle and I have talked about that. That isn't necessarily
So
what some people would say target panic. It's more he's just not wanting to take that shot when he's ready to.
So, one to point out with Jesse's there, another one, good one for Kyle, is his second one sunk right to the veins. So, I've seen it before. I don't know exactly how that goes, but if that vein touches that line, that's considered
part of the arrow.
Part of the arrow.
Very interesting.
So, another
flinch for Kyle. Still able to get it off.
Wow.
See, sometimes that is just a matter of 2 things happening. The sight picture he's looking at and his brain saying, let's get it going. And then it happening where he says, nope, hold on. It's not quite where I want it.
Yeah.
But Kyle is definitely a proud puncher. Call it a puncher.
Yep. Absolutely. He commands that shot to go off when he wants it to.
Ooh. All right, well, that's going to do it for us.
That's their second and third right
Yeah,
there.
second and third arrow for Jesse. And so it's going to be the final step of the podium for Jesse Broadwater. And the crowd knows it, and this should be it. And we'll get the final call. So it took 45 arrows to get here, but it looks like we are going to wrap things up. We'll wait for the official call from Bruce Cull. Even, yeah, it didn't look like that vein touched, but
it didn't touch.
Broadwater, 23.
I would have liked to know how that call would have went if it had of.
Yeah, me too.
Because I'm genuinely curious because I don't know.
And second place goes to Kyle Douglas with a 25, and Jesse Broadwater is third place. Give him a big round of applause.
Not a bad showing in the last 4 years. Win, win, win. Second.
We will have the awards presentation in just a couple minutes as we get ready.
So it took 35 arrows actually to complete.
35?
35. So that'll do it for the 2023 NFAA Indoor National Championship, where Levi Reitzma, first time to this tournament, was able to wrap it up. We saw some great ends of competition. Some heavy hitters fall out early. Once we went to inside-out scoring, we lost over half the field in one end. But when it was all done and dusted, it was Levi Reitzma who takes victory, and it'll be Kyle Douglas in second place and Jesse Broadwater taking first. So congratulations to all of our pro champions, third place. That includes, of course, on the female side of things, Paige Pierce, Randy Morocco, on the senior side of things, and this guy, Levi Reitzma, your national champ.